Have you ever seen this photo? It's called The American Girl in Italy. I saw it for the first time last week and it sent me down a rabbit hole because I wanted to know the photographer and the story behind it. Here's what I found. Meet Ruth Orkin. Ruth was born in 1921 and grew up in Hollywood in the 20s and 30s, with her mum working as a silent film actor. Now, this early Hollywood influence is important, and I'll come back to it. At 10 years old, Ruth got her first camera, a 39-cent Univex. And like a lot of photographers that I've talked about on this page, this initial introduction sparked a lifelong obsession. Now, one thing you should know about Ruth is that she loved to travel. In fact, at 17, she decided to cycle from LA to New York to see the 1939 World's Fair. 17 years old, cycling and hitchhiking across the country, and she brought her camera with her, putting together her first photo series. Now, you can feel the Hollywood filmmaking influence in her photography. She has this cinematic way of telling a story, whether in a series or in a single photo. At 19, she actually wanted to become a cinematographer, but the unions at the time didn't allow women in that role. So after the war, she moved to New York and she started taking on any photography job that she could. Baby photos, nightclub photos, all whilst building up her portfolio. And then her first real break came when her photo series, Jimmy the Storyteller, was first published in Look magazine. This led to more assignments with other magazines, including Life. Which brings us back to this photo. In 1951, Ruth was traveling in Italy for an assignment, and she met this woman called Jinx Allen, later known as Nina Lee Craig. And the two of them became friends. One day, they went out in Florence and decided to create a photo series together with Jinx as the model. They called it Don't Be Afraid to Travel Alone. And it was a photo essay about their experience as women traveling solo through post-war Europe. And these shots are absolutely incredible. They honestly feel like stills from a film. And as you flick through, you can tell that they were having fun with it, and the storyteller, director side of Ruth really started to come out. A year later, she married photographer and filmmaker Maurice Engel, and together they made several films, including Little Fugitive, which went on to influence filmmakers like Truffaut and Cassavetes. Ruth's family have done an amazing job of preserving her archive and putting together her story on her website. Everything from Hollywood parties to portraits of Marlon Brando and Leonard Bernstein. This video is definitely just a tiny glimpse, but I really encourage you to go check out her work. Go check out the website, there is so much on there. Let me know in the comments, do you know Ruth Orkin and what do you think of that photo?